Well, this is a report about the trip that we took to France. We were there for about 2 weeks, and we got to experience quite a few things while we were there. So, this is just kind of a brief overview. We'll obviously have to leave a few things out, but we're excited to share this information with you, and we hope that you enjoy the presentation.
Thanks, friends.
So, this is our nephew Lucas. We just wanted to start with a picture of him because he's adorable. That's all. So first we'll talk a little bit about some of the different things that we did while we were in Calais. We flew into Paris first. As you can see here, Elijah and the rest of us, of course, got to go see the Eiffel Tower. We didn't go up, but even from the ground, it is beautiful. And Elijah enjoyed the largest cotton candy I've ever seen. And in French, they call it a candy beard, which actually makes a lot of sense. But some of the major things that we did while we were there was visit people from a variety of different organizations. And we're not just talking about the Maria Scab Silva House, which will be our primary place of work while we're there, but we met people from a lot of different places.
Yeah, the Women's Center, we met them. We met people from Secure Catholic. We met with Frederica, who works with refugees in Guernsey,
which is close to Dunkirk.
Um,
yeah, and quite a few other organizations, all of whom are doing work among the people in exile there in Calais. We visited a church there. Father Pierre is on the board for the Maria Scab Silva Association, and he was the priest at the church, and so Rachel and the boys weren't able to come, but I went to the service and didn't really understand much of what was going on because my French isn't great yet, but Pierre did introduce me to the whole congregation at the end of the service, and I didn't know what they were talking about until everybody turned and started looking at me. So that was fun, and then I just gave an awkward wave. We spent quite a bit of time with Simon Jones, who is a Baptist minister from London. He has recently retired from his role as vice president of Spurgeon's College in London, and he has been involved in the exile situation in Calais since at least 2015, and he will kind of be overseeing some of the stuff we'll be doing there. And we stayed at an apartment with him while we were in Calais for the 2 weeks, so we had a really good chance to get to know him well and interact with him.
And to really see what it'd be like to live in an apartment there.
Right. We got to know quite a few of the volunteers at the organizations. We have a lot of names in our head that we are not going to remember when we go back, but it was really great to see so many young people who are so invested in serving that population there. We got to visit a camp that had just been set up because of the police had evicted the camp that they had before that. So we got to see it right as it was being established, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a bit. We spent quite a bit of time at the Maria Scab Silva House, which again is going to be our primary focus there. It is a beautiful place where some of the more vulnerable refugees can come and stay for an indeterminate amount of time. Right now it's got mostly Sudanese women and children, and we had a really good time getting to know them and getting to see what that house is like. It was really a beautiful place to be. They prepared food for us and different things like that.
You could really just like feel the hope in the house and just the love that they share being there together.
Yeah, it's really their house, and we'll just be helping make sure that it's running well. And we got to spend quite a bit of time in Calais itself and get to know the Calaisian people, which is how they refer to themselves. And they were beautiful people. And here are some pictures of us in Calais, or on the airplane, as you see there in the upper right corner. That was us as we were getting on the flight to take off and head to France. Bottom right there is the well, some flowers. Rachel took a lot of pictures of flowers while we were there. And in the background there, you see the Calais Town Hall, which is much bigger than it looks in pictures. And there on the left, you'll see us with most of the people from the board. There's Père Pierre. There on the right, behind Elijah, who's flexing. Patricia is that older lady next to Rachel. Hiba is a volunteer. She's to the right of Rachel there. And Bernard is Patricia's husband. And then Simon is on the very far left there. And then the people that we met were probably one of the best parts of our visit there. There in that picture, you'll see Hiba, who is an Iraqi-American young woman, and she's been serving there. She had only been there about a week when we arrived. She's from Detroit, and she's fluent in both Arabic and English, and she is very helpful with interpreting for the Sudanese women there. She's hoping to be there kind of longer term, so hopefully she'll be back. She's had to leave the EU for a while in order to maintain her visa, but hopefully she'll be back by the time we get back there. We really enjoyed getting to know her, and Elijah, as you can see, also really enjoyed his time getting to know her. He said she's one of his favorite parts of going to France. And then Simon, of course, who we'll be working alongside with. Thierry was not in the picture because he wasn't able to be there at the end of our visit, but he is the chair of the board for the Maria Skapsova Association, and he is an HR rep in his day job. Patricia, she is a lovely older lady. We think of her kind of as a Pentecostal Catholic because she's constantly talking about how the Holy Spirit is working, and she's keeping an eye out for those things. And she prays regularly and is always looking for the ways that God is working in the world. And then Pierre is the priest, like I said. He was a very friendly man. We really enjoyed getting to know him. His English isn't great, but we were able to communicate in my broken French and his broken English very well, actually. And then there were many, many other people we met while we were there. Those are the highlights, and like I said, there will be a lot of names for us to learn when we go back. And then here's some more pictures. On the left there, that's us on the beach with Simon. We got some frites, which is French fries, which apparently is a local delicacy in the north of France, and they sell them on the beach there. And we went and ordered a large. The gentleman showed us the container for the large, which was a good size, but then he took the paper and filled up the container as well as the rest of the paper and slammed it down on the table in front of us. And all 5 of us were eating those fries, and we still didn't finish them. But they were delicious. And then, Rachel, you want to talk about why your arm's on there?
Yeah, my arm is on there. So when we were at the house one evening, the ladies there were making some sugar wax. That's apparently a big thing they do in Sudan. And so they offered to do my arm. It was quite the experience. They told me after the 3rd time it doesn't hurt anymore, but I don't know. It would take some getting used to.
They did one arm and one leg, right?
Yep, one arm and a section of each. And then they rubbed it with some olive oil to help heal the skin.
Yeah, they promised to do the rest of it when she goes back. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
And then there's just a poster there that was at the house, and we think that message, God is love, is one of the most important things that we're going to be doing there in Calais.
And it's just the perfect spirit of the house, or the example of the spirit there.
Yep. And the situation is really even worse than we'd even realized going over. As we've mentioned in many, many other places, people are living temporarily in camps there, and most of them are trying to get across to the UK. And people have asked us, why don't they claim asylum in France? And there are a lot of reasons for that. Either they have family already in the UK, they speak English already, they hear that it's an easier place to claim asylum, those kinds of things. But one major one that we weren't aware of before visiting is that there is an agreement called the Dublin Agreement, which says that if you enter France via any country and then try to claim asylum in another country, that country can send you back to where you first entered the EU, and you have to claim asylum there. So it's a serious problem for people who would like to claim asylum in France, because they have to wait at least 2 years before that agreement goes out of effect for them. So, they don't want to get shipped back to Italy or Greece or wherever they came in. And so some people will just stay in the camps for 2 years before trying to claim asylum. And other than that, really, the UK is their only other option.
Yep. So they're not part of
explained to
that
us.
Dublin Agreement.
Right, they are not signatories to the Dublin Agreement. And so the UK, Simon told us, processes about 85% of asylum claims that they receive, and so they have a really good chance of getting their claim approved if they go to the UK. But the mayor specifically of Calais, has a really negative view of these exiles and has for a long time. And so she sends the French police out to evict the camps. Every couple weeks, they go through the camps, tear down everything, kick people out, take everything that they can't take with them, and destroy it. And so these people end up regularly having nothing. And so there is a big need there to meet those needs that people have as they get evicted from their camps. And so, like I said, getting to the UK is the last hope for a lot of these people, because either they've been denied asylum in other countries, or they have to deal with the Dublin Agreement, and they can't claim asylum where they would like to. And so what we've been told by a young woman who is studying to be a lawyer there is that the UK really is the last hope in Europe for a lot of people. And so it's just not a good situation for people who are there. And on that picture, you can actually see, this is from the top of the Calais lighthouse, the cliffs of Dover there across the English Channel from Calais. And it's really that close, but it's really a long, long distance for many of those
And
asylum
really dangerous.
seekers.
I mean, you can see that barge there. There are ships. So we, were on the beach for probably a good hour or two in the afternoon, and I saw at least 10 to 15 ships coming
Yeah.
through. So it's just a really dangerous crossing as well, especially in little flimsy rafts and
Yeah, people die all the time.
inflatables. Yeah.
People drown all the time there. So this is a little more about that. You'll see that's the Calais Lighthouse, and we like that because our goal is to be a light there in Calais for the gospel. And then there's the church from Central Calais, which is one of the more famous parts of town, called Notre Dame. It's not the one you've heard of, but it's a really beautiful building. We didn't get to go inside, but we will definitely later on. And then the bottom there, that's the prayer room of the Maria Skopsova house.
And you can even see a little bit of the dining room and the kitchen back there, too.
Right, it's a small house, so everything's kind of next to each other. But they go in there and they pray a couple times a day. Everyone's invited to pray, Christian or Muslim or whatever, to come in and pray together and spend time together. I know they used to have services there. I'm not sure if they're doing that much anymore. But yeah, they try to think of it as really a holy place, which is really amazing. And then the city. Calais is a beautiful, beautiful town. There on the ocean, the English Channel. The weather the whole time we were there was very, very gloomy. It rained and it was cold every single day we were there. It's not always that bad. We just happened to catch it at like the worst time of year. But the people are beautiful. They are very friendly. We really enjoyed getting to talk to them. They always thought it was adorable when I would try to speak French. And they would apologize for their bad English, and then they'd speak perfect English. To be fair, most of them didn't speak English, but the ones that did always spoke it really well. But one lady at a coffee shop told me that in Calais, they don't have the sun in the sky, but they have the sun in their hearts. And we really did find that to be true. Despite the fact that Calais is a very impoverished community. It's one of the poorest in France. And they, as a result, have a tendency to vote for kind of the far right candidates, which they feel hear their voice, even despite the negative consequences. And they kind of turn their anger towards the refugees there as a result as well. And so maybe there's an opportunity there to help connect those two communities. We're not sure if we're the right ones to do that, but maybe we can help foster that conversation a little bit. We'll see what happens. And then this is Calais. That's Calais Town Hall there. That is a beautiful building. It's much bigger than I thought it would be. Simon once told us that it's impossible to get bad coffee in France, and we did definitely find that to be true. If you look in the upper right there, is that a mocha, right?
That is a white mocha.
A mocha from a local
It was
cafe.
delicious.
It was cheap. It was delicious. Everything is presented really beautifully. The food is really... we were very disappointed coming back to America after eating food in France. And then there on the bottom right is one of the pastries you can get at a local patisserie there in Calais. Yeah, all the food we had there was delicious. And then just a couple final things here. Part of our role will be to be, that's interesting, the head volunteers of the Maria Skobtsova House. So we'll kind of take over the day-to-day supervision. We're not going to live in the house. We'll have a separate apartment or living space. But we will oversee the volunteers there. We will help make sure that everything is running smoothly, help process people as they come in, and different things like that. We'll report to the bureau, which is the board, and, kind of share with them how things are going and put their recommendations into action, those kinds of things. And then we're hoping that we will be able to connect different nonprofit organizations there with each other, because they kind of all are isolated from each other and feel like their way is the right way to do things. So if we can get connected with those different organizations and find ways to help them work together, that would be amazing. And then one thing we really came away having a heart for is to provide pastoral care to the volunteers that are there. Most of them are in their younger 20s, and burnout is a common problem, and so they need those people there to provide that spiritual care, that relief, that respite from the hard work that they're doing. And so we want to be there just to take them out for coffee or dinner, talk to them, get to know their stories, understand their needs, and see how we can step in and provide that care to them. And then, of course, we want to be a light for the gospel there in Calais, both among the French nationals and amongst the migrants who are living there, because that's really at the heart of what we're trying to do. And so next steps for us, Rach, you want to?
Yeah, so the board has asked us to come early August. So we're planning to be there as soon as we can in August. As of right now, we are about 94% funded. We just got that last little 6% to go. But we do still plan to go in August, and we'll make adjustments or figure things out if we don't hit that 100%.
And we are counting on you to help support
Yes,
us and get
please.
us there. We'll put a link to the page where you can donate in the description here.
Yep, so that adds up to about $429 per month left to hit that 100%. And then we will be moving out of our apartment here at the end of June, and kind of being nomads for about a month. We'll visit a church out in Ohio, and then we'll be staying with family and getting as much family time as we can before we head out.
Yeah, and our first commitment's 2 years, and then we'll see what happens from there. But thanks for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Drop them in the comments if that's something you want to do. And now I sound like a YouTuber.
Yep.
Smash that like button. I'm just kidding.
Or just email us at
Yep.
givenscalais@gmail.
Yep. givenscalais@gmail.com.
gmail.com.
You
Oh,
got
man.
it. There we go.
Which will also be down below.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.